Welcome back to Vibes and Frequencies, where we create spiritual discussions together. I'm Nathan, and in this video, we're talking about crystals and synchronicity. So more specifically, the question asked by my subscriber and friend, Mad Lad of Creativity. Thanks for the question, Maddie. The question is, what is synchronicity? And we're also going to take this video in the direction of the best crystals that we can use to increase our synchronicity, should we find that an exciting platform to do so. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, first things first, before we get started, I know it seems unrelated, but I'm just excited and I really want to show this to you guys. Look at this necklace I just made. I'm obsessed with it. So this is, from top to bottom, that clear one is Phenakite. Then you got Moldavite in the center. Below this is Tanzanite. And the one off and to the right here, this pink one, is pink Tourmaline. I know I'm no like master wire wrapper, but anyways, I'm like in love with this one right now. I had this super trippy thing happen where last night I put this under my pillow and I don't recall like sleeping the entire night. Instead, I was in some kind of weird dimension where it was like I was aware with my human mind, but also I was aware with something else. And it was almost like I was scripting the next few months of my life. It's hard to explain it. It was like I was like in another dimension planning out all of the things that are going to happen to me. And I woke up this morning remembering some of them, and I've just got this weird vibratory feeling going on. And my synchronicity has just been going nuts since I put my Moldavite and Phenakite back on. So, that was a crazy intro. I'm sorry, I'm just really excited to tell you guys about that. So first, let's go ahead and look at the question of what is synchronicity? I'm going to be including my perspective as well as a few other people's perspective that commented on the last video and are going to be featured in this one. And the reason that I do this is actually because I am absolutely certain that I know nothing. I don't know anything, and to claim that I do and only present my perspective is such an ignorant, it's just holding us back. The more perspectives, the better. It's more fun too. So firstly, I'm going to share my perspective with you guys about what synchronicity is, and then I'm going to bring in the others, and then we're going to start talking about crystals. So to me, to my person, synchronicity seems to be this kind of thing that happens where it feels as though I'm in alignment. And also the synchronicity comes in almost at these times where my human could use a little bit of reassurance. Meaning, a lot of times in life, I walk with such faith and trust and this kind of spiritual openness and awareness, and it serves me really quite well. Sometimes things are challenging in my life, and I feel as though I want to push against them. This is where I personally experience, and when I experience, the most synchronicity. So we're talking like angel numbers and things like this, 222, 1111, stuff like this. There's also the synchronicity of the fact that like, just the other day I was sitting in my car and I was all sad and crying that I don't have friends in real life and that I'm lonely. And then 20 minutes later, I bump into another guy who was literally doing the same thing. And now we've got like a whole bunch of people. We keep running into each other and we've got like a whole group of friends. So this is synchronicity too, because it's lining itself up and each of these things are kind of echoing into each other until all of a sudden it's part of my reality. So the fact that I personally notice, this is my own awareness, perhaps our synchronicity would expand if we were aware, right? Which we're gonna get into this. I promise. But for me, it comes in at these times where I could use some reassurance. When I feel like I'm on the wrong path, when I feel like I need help, this is when I'm seeing numbers all over the place. You know, for me, it's 1122 because my expression number is 11. My life path number is 22. This is numerology. It's pretty cool. You should check it out. But this is when it all comes in for me, is like when I need some help and some reassurance that like it's all good. I can relax, I can let go, and I can trust that I'm on the right path because these things are popping up. So this is what synchronicity means to me and my person in my life. It always feels like I really truly am the universe, and like there is some kind of meaning and purpose to whatever path I'm traversing at the time. So I really appreciate synchronicity a lot. For me, my favorite crystals to increase my synchronicity are Moldavite and Phenakite, which these are the ones that are at the top here. So you've got Phenakite right there in the center, the clear one, and then you've got Moldavite in the middle. These, for me, it's so freaking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I took my Moldavite off for a month while I was getting into like meditation and things like this, and I wanted to go really deep in it without the influence of crystals. So I was away from all of them for an extended period of time. And then I put my Moldavite back on, and literally within 24 hours of putting that Moldavite back on, there's freaking numbers just popping up everywhere, all over the place, and all these kinds of crazy things happening. I'm walking and feeling like I'm walking through multiple different parallel paths within like the infinite quantum realm of experiences. It's trippy stuff. And what I learned, what I learned from my meditation and being away from all my crystals for so long, honestly, is that I know nothing. And that's okay, you know? I just kind of surrender to that. I don't have much of a need to learn or know or understand things anymore. But I really love crystals, and they're a really fun part of my life. They're exciting to me, and this is the most pumped up I get, is when I talk about crystals. It's just the way that it is for my person, I guess. I love them. So I would highly recommend Phenakite and Moldavite for this. Now, these two crystals are part of the Synergy 12 stones, which is something that Robert Simmons talks about. He's kind of the father of the Moldavite information and bringing the awareness about Moldavite to at least all of us Westerners. Now, I want to tell you right now, if you're excited about this, I've got a Phenakite video and Moldavite video tagged in the description for you. One of them is even about using them for synchronicity. So that's pretty on point. But be careful if it really excites you and you want to buy some. Moldavite and Phenakite are the two most faked crystals that people end up having fakes. I've got a lot of friends and people that I've met that are wearing Moldavite and Phenakite, and I see it and it's clearly fake and it hurts my heart. And then I'm like, do I tell them or not? No, not unless they ask. I won't tell them. But yeah, please be careful, guys, especially with Moldavite right now because it's blowing up on TikTok. You know, it's just a difficult time right now. Everybody's trying to fake these things, and it's really a bummer because it's just not good for our overall consciousness, I don't think, to be ripping each other off personally. I actually do personally sell real Moldavite on Etsy. I'll have that tagged for you guys below if you want to check it out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dive into some of the perspectives of what people have shared in the comments, and they are getting way more extravagant and badass with their explanations than I am, and they're also sharing their own crystals, so we're going to integrate that into the video right now. So I want to thank all my friends who reached out on the last Vibes and Frequencies video and answered the question about what is synchronicity and what's the best crystal. I'm going to feature a few of them now, and the first one that I want to get our discussion going together here in this video with is shared by my friend Cloud Rider. Cloud Rider, I freaking love you. Seriously, man. So Cloud Rider, this is why I'm bringing this one in. Cloud Rider says that synchronicity is always there, but to recognize it more, one must align themselves with nature in the silence of the present moment. And in Cloud Rider's opinion, Cloud Rider says that crystals act as magnets for this, transmuters of energy. So the reason I'm bringing this in is because I think this is a great segue in our conversation about synchronicity. And it's the fact that it is always there. Synchronicity, theoretically speaking, again, all of these are perspectives, right? Theoretically speaking, synchronicity is just the fundamental nature of our reality and our universe. It's woven into everything, just like so many other beautiful paradoxical things are. But the synchronicity is always taking place. Perhaps, there's nothing that we do to create synchronicity. Perhaps synchronicity is, again, the way that it is, and we just simply realize and notice these things when we find ourselves more in tune. And I really like what Cloud Rider said here, because I personally find spending time in nature is one of the most powerful ways to connect with a certain rhythm, a certain song that's playing between everything. Now, a lot of us are singing our own song in our head. We've got our own music going, right? Because we have the capability with our ego and our presence here as a human to go off and navigate in any direction that we want. But there's this fundamental song that is shared in all of nature. It's like the song of the universe, source creation, whatever you want to say. Now, if we are constantly repeating over and over again in our head a certain song or a certain tune that is our own, then we might be out of alignment with the natural song that's playing, the rhythm that everything that is natural is a part of. So when we go into nature and we give in to silence and the present moment, just like Cloud Rider has said, oftentimes this song that plays in everything, it doesn't become louder. It's simply that we are finally able to listen to it. We're finally paying attention to this song. And then we find ourselves falling into place with that natural rhythm, and now everywhere we go, synchronicity's like, boom, 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 synchronicity gun, baby, because we're noticing it. Now we're part of the song, and we feel it. So I really like that a lot. Thank you for sharing that, Cloud Rider. Oh my gosh, look guys, check it out. 11:11. Oh, you can't even see on my phone. Oh well. Well, I thought that was pretty cool. Synchronicity, while talking about synchronicity. Now, I want to bring in something that Seth Richard has said here, because Seth is basically talking about how synchronicity energy and this good energy is the vibration of everything, and it's when everything's kind of coming together on its own and falling into place in this sense. But the main reason I wanted to bring Seth into this conversation, actually, is because when we're talking about what are the best crystals to increase the synchronicity, Seth is the only one, really, who who didn't say Phenakite and Moldavite, which is what pretty much all of us other crystal people were saying. So Seth says Moldavite, Phenakite, but Seth also says that he has a lot of luck with Herkimer diamond, citrine, and Libyan desert glass, which we've actually got videos on the Vibesnfrequencies channel for that too, if you want to check out the crystal review playlist I've got tagged below. So that's why I'm bringing in Seth. Pretty much everybody else about the kind of crystals that are going to work best for us. Everybody seems to mostly agree with Phenakite and Moldavite. And maybe this is just because of the law of attraction, and that's what I think, so I attracted people to comment the same thing. I don't know. I don't claim to know these things. I don't know what I'm talking about. Alright, now I'm going to actually directly read Cheyenne Edwards what you have said. Cheyenne says, synchronicity is direct messages from time and the universe, or the higher self, which are being sent with intention. I like to think of it as patterns which are holding different significances that are meant to serve me in that moment. Now, Cheyenne says that Moldavite is definitely a good one for this. She also says that she's had a lot of luck with amethyst and citrine. If anybody else has had any luck with amethyst, I would like to hear that below. I'm a big amethyst fan myself. Now, she also says that every time she sees repeating numbers, she smiles and says thank you and practices gratitude, because this is a really powerful way to increase the synchronicity. And I 100% agree with Cheyenne. So I was hoping if anybody felt called to do so, and anybody has really good practices of practicing gratitude and growing gratitude within ourselves, if you could comment that below. This could be as simple as, when I'm out walking, I'm thinking of the things I'm grateful for, right? I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to my parents for raising me to be the person that I am, you know? I'm grateful to be in Sedona. I'm grateful for my friends, so on and so forth. We could do this. We've got gratitude journals where you write down what you're grateful for before you go to sleep. But I absolutely agree with Cheyenne that practicing gratitude is a magnificent way to increase the repetition of anything that's going on in your life. Gratitude seems to have this echoing mirror effect within our universe that just blows everything up and makes it bigger. Perhaps it's just us noticing it again a lot more. Just like how we're saying when we're in nature, we're able to become part of that song and recognize it more. Now, the next perspective that I'm going to share with you guys is shared by Volpes. And Volpes is actually talking about how to use synchronicity as an actual tool to be a more effective human in your day-to-day life. But before I share that one, I apologize, but we got a quick word from today's video sponsor. So Vulpes says that it is DMT crystals that kickstarted Synchronicity for them about 6 months ago. Now, DMT crystals is something else entirely than the kind of crystals we've been talking about, but it is still a crystal, and I see you. Vulpes, I see you. Now, this is where I think it gets interesting. This is why I really wanted to share this one. Vulpes says, I have learned how to largely control the synchronicity, giving me the ability to avoid people and traffic, get green lights, see repeating numbers or not, depending what I feel like seeing, get a new job, basically anything that I need. So this is pretty wild, and I think it's really cool because it makes sense that the more kind of open and aware and tuned into the synchronicity, part of that rhythm, when we're part of this music that's going on, suddenly we can find ourselves going about and navigating through our lives with a more effective sense of what we really want to be experiencing. And this is the way that Vulpes is saying this. So I'm curious if any of you use synchronicity to do anything like this or anything different, or however this question resonates with you. I would actually really love to get a conversation going about this. I personally don't use synchronicity to do anything except, honestly, like I said, I just feel reassured when I see it, like, oh, okay, everything's good right now. I'm fine. But I do know a lot of people, and I've actually met some friends here in Sedona recently, and they seem to use synchronicity as a tool for certain aspects and rituals and things that they do as well. Now, I want to pose a question here. That's just a theoretical question. I'm not saying this to like challenge anybody necessarily, but also I am. And the question, for question's sake, is, can we use synchronicity to control and change the world around us? Or is it simply that when we let go and find ourselves as part of this rhythm, that this is where synchronicity takes place, and it isn't actually about us changing or controlling anything, but it's more so as if we are simply now part of a bigger, grander story that is playing out. You're more in alignment with your character. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a hard thing to state, but this is something that Vulpes' comment has had me thinking. And it's just an interesting thought, that perhaps synchronicity isn't even necessarily a tool to change things or to use, but is rather a symptom of being in alignment with the bigger story that's taking place. AKA, when we are less living from the standpoint of our ego, but are more in alignment with quote-unquote spirit or the universe or this rhythm and song that we are all beautifully a part of. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm saying this right. That's okay. I do make 3 videos every single week, guys. If you really like this video and you're not subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. I make videos based on people's questions and comments below. If you've ever got something you want to see a discussion on, throw it in the bottom. I love it. I love the help in making these videos. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you on Tuesday for the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks.